What is going on? My name is Flip, and man, oh man, I just got like a weird notification where like didn't let me know, like it didn't let me go live. It was like, oh, it's in test phase, in a test phase. I've never seen anything about no test phase. Maybe it's because I was doing the mm, I was doing the thing with the multi-stream yesterday. I don't know, but regardless, we are live. Um, and now it is time for chapter 1186. Now, I am seriously hoping that this shit works. I have everything ready, except that I don't have the chapter pulled up. I can only hope that my man Deadman comes along. I know, man, it is wild to have done a stream like 4 hours ago. I did a stream 4 hours ago. I'm doing yet another one. Um, was it 4 hours ago? I think it was 4 hours ago or 6 hours ago. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a couple hours, but we're here. I haven't had any water. I ate some. I don't know what I ate. Something. I was like, dude, I'm hungry. This was during the chapter, like chapter during gameplay during the stream. Uh, I ended stream partly because I was like, I was tired. But also, I was very hungry. So I ate something, and I don't know what it was. It has wrecked. It has wrecked me. It has wrecked my stomach. My stomach? What did I say? Stomach. Stomach. Anyways, chapter 1186, titled One More Time. One more time, nothing been so great. We're gonna celebrate. But I already saw the little the little thumbnail thing that the app set has, and it's broke. It's just regular broke. So I'm pretty sure now. Like I just saw it. I'm pretty sure now that we are entering. This is the final chapter. I would assume that this is where he joins the Rumor Pirates. I would assume this is where, Rovin probably dies. Kendall dies. Oh wait, Kendall's already dead. But Rovin probably dies. The Asperia is deleted. Shuri becomes Gunko and leaves. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. But anyways, we get a reader request. Loki secretly drawing a picture of Ida and secretly enjoying it. And he's I want to believe out of every cover request that has been had, this feels like the most real and the most like not a what if situation. And we see the baby like little um like his friends, the ones that were supposed to be his friends. We see them around him. And it's little Loki, and he has a notepad, and he's drawn Ida, and he goes, and it says "mommy" in the bottom. Man, I want to believe this one's real. And there's nothing that no one can tell me otherwise. This is canon. At least it is to me. Okay, so we cut to wow. Okay, so for the first time, I think in the entire flashback, we are getting black panels. Now, black paneling is when you have the paneling and you have the page, but the page is black, and uh, that usually signals a flashback. But we have been in this flashback for a while, and we haven't seen that. And so, okay, we're heading in chapter 1186. Title one more time. Okay, so we have Asperia. It seems to be partially on flames, and there is like what's it, storm clouds atop of it. And so we see everyone fighting and everything, and he goes, "Our only path to survival is independence." And so people are shooting out, "Dead man, yo, welcome, 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 salutations. How are you?" I am doing great, my guy. Was streaming Undertale on YouTube for the first time. I was doing multi-stream yesterday. Uh, yesterday for like most people, it's been like 4 or 6 hours since the stream. And I had gotten like a big stomach bug or something, but it like hopefully like it was acting up a couple like 10 minutes ago, but hopefully for the duration of the stream we don't get any problems because these could take upwards of an hour. So okay, continuing. So we see Brooke, and Brooke is staring off into space. There's a little like kind of Junji Ito like swirl that I could only assume. Oh, error. We're getting an error. Is the stream okay? I think the stream is okay. It seems like the stream is okay. I'm not gonna listen to this too much because it gives me a couple errors and it says error. YouTube is not Let me see. Recognizing. What does it say? Receiving enough video. Well, I'm making as much video as I can, YouTube. I don't know what you want from me. Anyways, and so Brooke goes, huh? Error? What error? I don't know. YouTube is being weird. But yeah, so as he seems to be hypnotized, we see the new Gods Knight. By the way, the thing went away. It says now it's excellent, so we're good. And we see them from the side, and they're smoking a cigarette. I was thinking last chapter that this is probably Kong. I am not so sure now. He has long eyelashes and those kind of like puffy lips and like Usopp and people like that have. So we see Shuri with completely white eyes. I would assume this means Gunko. Uh, well, I don't want to say Gunko, more so Emu. And then we see the Itsumare, which is Saint Marcus Mars, but only in silhouette form with like the flaming eyes. Okay. And so Brooke yells, "Someone called the medic. His Majesty is in critical condition. Bro! Hang in there, bro. You're going to be okay." Bro? Oh man, Robin is dead. Holy shit. Bro! And so as Brooke is screaming angrily and turning into a shock, a realization, sadness, tears. We see him go huff huff, which means to me he's trying to do CPR. He's trying to like revive him. Okay, and we hear the voice of Robin from like all the way back when, or at least I don't know, conversation with Robin. "Are you a fan of mine, old man?" "Hey, I am not that old." Okay, and so we cut back to when they like were friends as when Brooke was a child. "Yo ho ho ho! I guess I'll call you bro instead." And so we see little dirtied up Brooke. "I predicted that Emu was on top of Mars last chapter." I mean, I think Emu is inside of Shuri at this point. Oda is doing an amazing job on Brooke's reaction and confusion. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the most human reactions that we've seen in the entire series. I think the one that's closest behind that is either any of Bonnie's from like or Kuma's, and then Luffy from Saba Odi. I think it's that. Those are like the most human reactions we've gotten in the entire series. And so we see little dirtied up Brooke with the glasses all broken up and everything, and Robin is just as dirty, but they're both laughing. He goes, "Bro!" And so we cut back to Brooke screaming and crying, "Bro! Bro!" And so we see Emu in the Emu form that we've always known kind of slither out, pop out. just kind of witnessing this interaction, we see three dots. So Brooke goes, "Hey, didn't anyone hear me call for a damn medic?" Okay, so where the hell is Emu? So if it's not Gunko, where the hell is Emu coming from? And I wonder if Brooke has seen Emu before in this case. Like, Brooke at least has been in the same room as Emu, which would mean that it's very possible that Brooke is one of the few people in the entire series that had seen Emu at this point in the like in the series. Because I always like I was thinking the only person that's alive that's seen Emu aside from like the Gorosei is Sabo and Wapol. Like that's what I was thinking, but it turns out that maybe Brooke as well. One of my favorite human reactions was when Paulie, the rope dude from Water 7, found out about CP9's identity. Man, I completely forgot about that. Holy man, Dead man, you're onto something, man. Which, by the way, what do you think about my new like thing that pops up the chat? Spent a while coding that, like just so like it worked exactly the way that I wanted it to. Like it took me some time. Okay, so we get a different dialogue box that has a big outer rim, a big outer black rim that looks like a slightly demonic. So I would assume the one talking here is Emu. And so, bam, the doors of the throne room close. They slammed shut. And we hear, this was an inconvenient time for an interruption. So we see Gonko, Gonko with that same thick outline. So I would assume that this is Gonko speaking. Brooke, that man is already dead. So Brooke looks over with shocked eyes, and I guess this is where, because I think I remember Brooke saying that he hates Shuri, for, and it was never understood why. So with tears still flowing down his eyes and a look of sort of shock, disgust, and it's just that kind of look where like someone that you've always known would never betray you suddenly says something completely outrageous and just completely disgusting. And so Brooke doesn't even turn towards Shuri. He just looks at the God Knight and says, "You there? Who are you? What have you done to Princess Shuri? I've been watching over this girl since she was a newborn baby. I know she is not capable of this kind of bloodshed. I know everything about the princess." And so Gunko immediately cuts in and goes, "But Brooke, did you know that I was a celestial dragon?" No, man. No. No, because this is the one thing that I really don't like. People were saying this, like it made total sense, but at the same time, for one, Oda already did this disgusting thing once. Like, man, I don't want to say it's just rape again, again, 2 arcs in a row. Oda, why? Why? Not only that, impregnation. Why do you have to do this? It's not only is it like it's not good. Like I don't see it. Like of course it's not. It's meant for like putting the evil of these guys in play. But like for one, it was already bad enough to see back then. And two, man, just seeing that same story being played out a second time, 1 arc later. I don't love that. Like, why would you do this again? I love how Brooke barely even noticed Emu, and the other people in the background just focusing on his big bro. Oh, by the way, it may be hard to see, but Emu actually opened the door outside. Open the door outside. Oh, so Emu's not even here. Emu's gone. Oh shit, I see. I see. Bro, there you go. Okay. Did you know that this man was not my real father? And Brooke goes, stop calling him this man. Huh? What are you talking about? You're King Reuben's legitimate daughter, an heir, of course. And so Gunko goes, where's the proof? Brooke says, proof? You don't need proof between parents and their children. And Gunko says, yes, you do. It would have made a huge difference in my life. I've now wasted 16 years that I could have spent as a celestial dragon. Do you understand how angry I am? They demanded 1,000 slaves? Wrong. That was because this wretch refused to hand me over. He goes, don't call him that. He's a terrible king who let his people die for nothing. Oh man, that was the fucking brainwash on this one. So she is part of the man-mayor family. Yeah, I really didn't like that Shuri was part of the Celestial Dragon. Like, it didn't make so much sense, but you know he already did this. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense based on what he put out, but again, he put this out and a chapter, 2 chapters ago. He didn't have to do this. He could have just made it so, like, A, we like this girl, she is feisty, she is compatible, she has some spunk, and we wanna, like, get rid of that, or like, hey, we want to punish Robin. What's the best way to do that? Let us take over her and make her a celestial dragon. She doesn't have to have been a celestial dragon. Like did you have to do this again? Like legitimately, I am. I don't like. It's not even about the fact that it's a topic that's being discussed. Like we already had this, and I was not upset. I was upset because like it is something that I didn't want Genie to go through, but it's a real thing. It's a reality, especially in a world like this. It's a reality that definitely happens, right? But man, fucking seeing it again, it's almost like Oda, like I don't know what he's thinking. What is he? Is it like? Why would you want to do this one again? I was always sus of Kendall. I wonder if the dad knew this whole time, or did Kendall hide it from him? No, he knew. He knew. He absolutely knew. I don't doubt it for 1 second that he knew. Like people were saying, oh, Robin probably married Kendall out of like because of the terrible thing that happened. But man, what a piece! Like I'm sorry, Oda. I love you, and I love you as a writer. But holy, what a piece of shit! What a piece of shit that you're being in this moment. You didn't have to do this again. Uh, so Shuri goes Gunko. Again, I think I wanna like make that distinction. Shuri is the person that we met. Gunko is the person that we met first, and then that's the difference between them now. And I guess as the years go by and as Shuri is remembering stuff as Gunko, that Gunko and Shuri are becoming one and the same person as time goes on. So Gunko goes, that's why he had to pay the price. If the king dies, the war is over. Okay, but then why do they delete Asperia? Like, and Brooke goes, but if we lose, then this country becomes a lawless wasteland. And Gunko goes, that doesn't matter to me anymore. And so, Knights of God, we see the name and we see him smoking. Is this gonna be Smoker's dad? Because I feel like we don't see a lot of people, like being smokers, like actual smokers. Knights of God, Saint Man Mayor Guro. Oh, this is the dad. This is the dad for sure. Oh shit. And he has One, he has the eyes in the same way, like one that's clear and the other one that's normal. This is Gunko's dad. Motherfucker. I remember you. Kendall Squire. The boy with the poofy hair. Not that you were ever allowed to get close to me. Oh, this motherfucker. And Brooke starts. He is disgusted. He is absolutely shocked. He is falling back, and we can see tears flowing down. And Brooke, as he falls down, he says, "Your eyes." And so Goro goes, "Normally I wouldn't come to a backwater like this, just to recover a single measly whelp." So that's what he's calling his daughter. But her bipolar irises are an extremely rare trait, and the Great One desires her. Okay, wait a second. So the only reason that they want her is because, not because she's a celestial dragon. Okay, so there is a difference between Ginny and Kendall and Bonnie and Shuri. Like, Bonnie, aside from having the disease that was put on her, by the way, by the celestial dragons, she had nothing special, like of any sort. But Emu wants Shuri specifically because she has some genetic trait. It's not even like a specific ability or anything, or maybe it is. Like maybe it is like a Genkai, right? But it just seems she has a rare trait, and Emu's like, "Hey, I like the fact that this is a rare thing. I want her for myself." And probably, "Hey, I want her as a fucking avatar." Right? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is. Emu is a Shikikomori, and she likes unlocking characters for her to use in her little game. This garbage might even be still alive for all we know. I hope he's not. No, he most definitely is. He most definitely is. Remember that these guys are the fucking immortal and stuff. Bipolar irises, man. Oh, so wait, it's maybe Gunko? Like maybe the bipolar, because using the word bipolar means probably a change in attitude. So I wonder if Shuri and Gunko always coexisted, right? If like maybe the celestial dragon part of her was always locked inside the dark eye or the light eye, and or the same way around. Like maybe this isn't something that's being induced by possession or Dominareversi or a covenant, but instead it's something that's being done because of her bipolar irises. I don't know. I don't know. Regardless, it's this garbage might even. I already read this. Okay, so Guro goes, "Perhaps she can," and so someone, presumably Gunko, goes, "Oh, no, no, no. This is Emu. This is Emu for sure." Emu goes, "Thou speaketh too much, Guro." Guro goes, "Oh, my apologies, Great One." And so he turns around and he goes, "Make it quick, Shuri." And Brooke, now with a big sadness in his eyes and tears that can't flow anymore as they streak down his face. He can't. It seems like he can't make any more tears, and he is just sad and shocked. And he's taken aback, and he says, "Huh?" And as Shuri, with the big devil wings, walks forward, Brooke starts like crawling away, pulls out shakily his sword, and he goes, "This can't be real. I must be dreaming." And so while actively starting to cry more and more with a shocked and angry expression, almost kind of like biting his lip with a big frown on his face, he goes, I I changed your diapers. I know everything about you, Princess Shuri." And Shuri just has a stoic face. She does not care whatsoever. And as she continues walking towards him, she goes, "Don't act like I owe you anything. And stop that pathetic sniveling. I want the protection of people stronger than you. And if I get to go to the Holy Land, then I no longer have any need of you." And so Brooke is just devastated. Tears keep flowing down, and the expression is just shocked and blank. Okay, that man goes, "I really wonder what Shuri's eye ability is. Maybe it likes." Wait a minute, I just thought of this while I'm typing. Well, remember early in the flashback, Gonko was talking about, oh, seeing the future. Or, I doubt it. I think it's just a genetic ability, and if anything, it has something with the change of personality or the change of, like, I don't want to say personality, but the change of um, emotion. Something like that, maybe. That's a hint of the ability of the eye. I mean, I just think this is not Naruto, right? Like, it doesn't have to be a Kekkei Genkai. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to have some intrinsic ability. I just think because it's something that we've definitely seen in One Piece time and time again. In Sabaody, we see it in specifically in Whole Cake Island. Like the idea that a human being looked at as a different from everyone else is enough for people to be like, oh, I want this individual because they add on to my collection. Like this is something that I don't have, right? So that's what I feel like it's gonna be. Like they just, it's not about the fact that there's some intrinsic ability or like, hey, this is gonna be useful or it has some sort of ability. I just think Emu went, oh, I like this skin because at the end of the day, she takes over. Like it's a skin. I like this skin. I'm gonna use it in battle whenever I want. This is my new avatar. This is my character. This is my new favorite character for my little game. I like how she looks, so I want to use her. I think that's just basically what it was. Uh, oh, like a cabbage where he has different eyes. Maybe that other spirit is using him. A cabbage. What are you talking about? Anyways, so we continue on. We see little flashbacks of Rook's perspective while Shuri was a child. You were always the perfect little angel, but now you look more like a devil. And he thinks this as she lunges her sword at him and goes "Kabote." And I wonder if this is an ability that we saw, like not an ability, a technique that we saw Kendall use or Brooke use. Because if so, then that's gonna hit way harder. The fact that you know he's being attacked by a technique that was probably taught to her by him. The blonde sword dude from the Straw Hat Pirates that Bartolomeo chained up. The blonde sword dude, Cavendish. Oh, now I mean what you mean by cabbage, because that's what Luffy called him. No, Cavendish. Yeah, the Hakuba, or Hakuma. I don't remember. I think it's Hakuba. Where he has a different eye whenever the other spirit is using him. Yeah, I think I know what you mean now. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it might be that. It might be a rare trait. I think you're actually onto something. I really like that idea. The fact that Hakuma, I mean, because Hakuba was never explained, right? And it was never explained why it's so erratic or where it comes from. Also, I was thinking the other day because I'm watching Dressrosa, I was like, dude, Cavendish. I was literally thinking this. Cavendish looks really, really close to Kendall. Like they look really similar. Even though like she's not blonde, but they look really similar. And I was thinking about that. Anyways, we see now a look of Roven, I failed to protect my bro, the man who saved my life. And so Brooke drops his sword as we see her continue to launch the attack, and we hear the sword clang onto the. I have a feeling that she's going to stab him right here, right? And that's where his scar in the skull. We get that. I assume that's what it is, and then I'm assuming he's going to join Yorkie and the Rumba Pirates, and he will assist some other kingdom to try and infiltrate Marijua, right? During the reverie to go and attempt to rescue Shuri, but it's gonna fail, and then he's gonna continue being Rumbar Pirates, and then we're gonna cut to what we know happens. Oh wait, you're right. They do look very similar. Yeah, it's something that I was thinking about the other day. Um, I turned the page, and just as I predicted, I thought he gets completely stabbed right through the head by Gunko. Gavotte bon devant. Oh, cows and frogs. Dude, this. We hear the song that he was singing to Shuri. Dude, when the anime. Man, this better be. This whole flashback better be like an hour special. Like, don't release. It doesn't have to be a movie. Of course not. Hour long special. Instead of releasing chapters 1195, 1196, 1197, release it all as a single episode. Because this is going to hit hard. The beginning where he sings the song, and then here in the same way, like, da 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 sekai wa umi wa oashite koarai ni suru. Just I keep thinking about the ending. Anytime I hear this, I keep thinking about. I have goosebumps right now, just thinking about the ending of Film Z with the song. Dude, I love Film C. Oh, cows and frogs and slaves and kings, we're all bones when we die. And so we see the silhouette of him as she pulls out the sword. We're all bones in the end. That's all that there is to say. And Brooke thoughts over as Guro and Shuri walk away. I always think about Brooke's scar on the head. Glad we finally got to see how he got it. Also, two people in one arc survived from a sword in the head. W, Jarul, and Brooke. True! Film C ending is so beautiful. It really is. It really is. I absolutely adore Film C, and the more time passes since I've watched that movie, because I've watched it 2 times. I think I've watched it 3 times, actually. Every time that the more time passes, the more I'm like very appreciative of that film. My favorite film of One Piece has been Film Red for a long time, but the more I go into Film C, the more I love Sepher, the more I love that movie. It is such a great movie, and I hope we see Sepher come back in some capacity. Like even if it's just like showing the old Marines and the old regime and stuff. So we cut to what seems to be the Rumbar Pirates or something. And they're all okay, it's just the militia, the guards. And they're all around Brooke as Brooke wakes up and it says, Captain, Captain! Captain Brooke, he's awake! Oh, this is a miracle! And Brooke, with bandages over his afro, man, he is just looking upwards with defeat in his eyes. Oh man. I have never seen anyone survive with a sword stuck through his head. Dude, Jarul. I wonder if there's some connection here between them. Like, Oda saying such a line is so interesting to me. The sword somehow managed to avoid all the major arteries and your brainstem. So the image is, and as he's saying that, it's completely cut off by Brooke getting up and saying, "Where's the king?" Ouch. Oh, I don't know how much you remember, Captain. Look, we shouldn't tell him too much. It might rattle him. No, it's okay. Tell me the truth. So this might have affected like his memory. Not that it's gonna matter because he's not gonna have a brain by the end of this. Yo ho 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 ho. I still wonder also when he gets good at like playing music, right? Because like he has been bad at that for a while, and I wonder. I really, I want this arc to end with him joining the Lumber Pirates. Like legitimately, I feel like that would be the perfect ending to this. And we also need to see when Esperia is deleted. Oh shit, we still have nine pages. We lost, Captain. The king's death sealed it. Someone witnessed Princess Sherry being put onto a government ship, and so Brooke has a complete shock in his face. Brooke looks devastated. He does. He really, really does. Chopper, you should definitely help him on this one. My man is injured physically and emotionally. You gotta do something about this, Chopper. Many civilians have already fled the country. That's good. That's good. At least it's deleted with probably no one on it. And so we see Brooks. We see Sherry's face of anger, and we see Rovin's dead body. But what country will take in all those refugees? Dude, if they say Lulusia, that's going to be such a tragedy because they escaped a place that was deleted, only to for their grandchildren and probably themselves later on to be deleted by the same weapon, probably the same weapon. And so we see the islands, we see the storm clouds sort of like still fussling, but not anymore being actual storm clouds, just a lot of clouds, and we just hear a massive shriek of grief and horror. And they go, Captain? Oh no, he's bleeding again. Hold on, Captain. Stay still. And as he's bleeding out and grabbing his head, Brooke is just bawling his eyes out. Captain, Captain. Oh, we cut back to Brooke in present time, and he's holding his head. And man is crying, and he's still devastated. The fact that Brooke has been carrying this for the entire time that we've known him, like that, and he has so much trauma, not just from spending time alone and from leaving Laboon behind and from seeing Yorkie and all of them dying and him also dying and whatever else he's witnessed. He's been carrying this for decades, like almost a century, basically. I mean, no, not even that. It's been half a century, but Jesus Christ. And also being sold in the time skip, man, back then, I didn't even know about the existence of devil fruits. Wow. So it was like that. I mean, at least in modern times, it's either a myth or they're just extremely rare to the point that people are like, man, I've never seen one myself. But being like, I didn't even know about them. That is crazy. I mean, naturally, this wasn't during the pirate era, but like, still. And as the entire island is literally in as much chaos as possible, and we see massive, uh, massive explosions and thunder in the background. They're just having a very sad conversation. That man goes, Brooke deserves better, and we already know what happens after this. His crew dies, and he was drifting in a foggy sea for 50 years, and alone at that. And Brooke goes, as we see the macro scale of this moment. I always thought that I had a hallucination, that I had hallucinated what happened, such as the shock I suffered at seeing my savior dead on the ground, and the terror I felt at the changed princess, her new demonic visage. If those were not illusions, but real memories. And so we see Nami and Usopp's expression, and Nami is just saddened and shocked. Usopp is mad, and I can see him in his face. It's very much in the background, but we can see him. But if those were not illusions, but real memories, my friends, oh man, and Brook is crying his eyes out and not saying anything. He's not saying shit. Do you think it would be alright if I had faith in Princess Shuri just one more time? So we see Jinbei with a tired look, Usopp with a shocked and kind of angry expression, Nami with a saddened, worried look, and Frankie in classic Frankie fashion, bawling his eyes out but being very silent at the same time. Like we can tell he's trying not to cause any disturbances. I love that when Oda draws something, you can clearly tell exactly every emotion that's going through and every intention that the character is going through. And so we cut back to the big ice cube that that Gunko was left in by Ratatasker. And Brooke says if she happens to be a victim in all of this, from inside the eyes, Shuri yells out, "Run, Brooke!" And so we cut over to the past where she was being a pouty 14-year-old. She goes, becomes Papa and Mama's daughter? Question mark. And so we see inside the eyes, she's asleep, she is frozen. And Brooke, with a determined and angry expression, goes, I want to save Princess Shuri. May I ask for your help in achieving this goal? Oh, and so Brooke kneels down and puts his head fully and just hard on the ground, and he is asking Jinbei, Nami, Frankie, and Usopp, not Zoro, not Sanji, not Luffy, not Robin, not Chopper, or at least I think Chopper might be here. I'm not entirely, I don't think so. He's asking these four people, two that are known to be extremely weak, one that is probably stronger than Sanji is, and Frankie, who just got a massive upgrade. And you can see that Nami and Usopp are the ones that are right next to Brook, while the other two are taking a back step. I think this is where Usopp and Nami start shining. Hansel and Gretel. Okay. And Jinbei cracks his knuckles. I can't believe I actually cracked them. That worked. He goes, do you really need to ask? Let's hurry up and break that block of ice. And if anyone can do it, it's either Jinbei, Frankie, or Usopp, because they all have fire attacks. Well, no, those two have fire attacks. This one has full control over water. So if anyone's going to be able to break the ice, it's probably one of these three. And Nami, with a fully determined expression behind her eyes, goes, maybe lightning will work on it. Frankie, now bawling and screaming out in sadness, goes, I'll use my radical beam and melt it in one go. I thought he was going to use his blast breath, but sure. And Usopp, looking around like, he goes, I don't think I should use explosives. What can I do to help? Use explosives. And so they all start screaming, hey, wait up, Brook! And Brook starts doing his signature little run, and he's just boom, going. And he is crying and yelling out, just crying his eyes out. Wah! And we still haven't seen Asperia be deleted. That's another interesting thing, and I wonder if we're gonna probably see that by the end of the arc, by the time that Shuri is released. Cafeteria, Walrus School, and so we hear, I'm all full. Is this Luffy? That bad news guy is Elbaf's enemy, right? Huff huff. Then that means he is my enemy. I'm overwhelming. I'm overflowing with strength. And so, boom! Luffy shuts out. Right now, I can't see anyone beating me. I really hope that he loses. Like, I really do. This is being set up as the moment where Luffy essentially and naturally does win. I want him to lose. I feel like this is the kind of story, and this is definitely the kind of arc where like the the main characters can't always win. The main characters can't always win. I think the win here is doing some sort of damage, but I think they should, in the grand scheme of things, lose. This shouldn't be a Kaido situation. This should be a optimistic Sabaody situation. Right? Like, imagine if during Sabaody they did better. Like, it doesn't have to be, oh, we defeated Kizaru, but specifically, we did some sort of maybe damage to his image, or maybe damage directly to him, or maybe even so much as, like, I don't know, the timer. There's a timer on Imu's avatar. I'm gonna call him that because I really still don't think this is Imu. And so Loki, who's still fighting Imu, goes, quit going after the kids. You world government folks sure do fight dirty. And so Imu goes with a question mark. Dost thou not know why? And Loki is like taken aback by that question and shocked. Shall I teach thee? 800 years ago, thy kind suffered defeat in order to save thy children. Are we seeing Void Century? What do you mean 800 years ago? And so he says that as Loki is going in for an electric attack. And Imu says the nature of race does not change in mere centuries. This is what I was saying. I have a feeling that Imu's avatar is a combination, or at least a predecessor, to every single race that we see in the world. The nature of a race does not change in mere centuries. And so we see the children being taken by Zaza, by the Sasa Sleep Tid. Simply abduct thy children, and I can control thee at will. Is this what happened with the warrior god? Did Imu take their children so he would fight? Oh man. Imu took the warrior god's children in order to make him fight Nika or Joy Boy way back when. This is what I'm thinking. And so we see Dory and Bragi, and they are in the midst of battle. Or at least they are, like, angry. I don't know. Thou might not know what is happening to thee, but history repeats regardless. Okay, so it seems that somehow he's using the same strategy from 800 years ago to somehow manipulate and control the giants. It is already too late. Thou art my slaves. Is this where is he setting stuff up so he can dummy reverse? And the reason it didn't work before was because there were not the right conditions. Like maybe you're supposed to like make some kind of deep emotional, uh, like maybe it isn't about being in the place that you're from, but specifically making sure that you're threatening some kind of familial emotional tie. Look at how the one that was controlled, the people that have been controlled, are people whose children, or at least yeah, something like that, were like everyone that's being dumb and reversed had some kind of attachment to someone else and wanted to protect someone else. This is the same for Rox. Rox was trying to protect not just his family, but he was trying to protect his son, Teach, and he was dumb and reversed. Like maybe that's what it is, right? That would make total sense. That's why Luffy didn't like Luffy's dumb and reversed didn't work because he had no familial ties to protect, and he doesn't feel like he has to protect his crew either because he believes in his crew. By the same logic, Loki doesn't have this either because he has not had any familial ties to anyone except Ida, who has been dead for years. So the only people that he's cared about are not even people, are the animal friends that he has. I would assume Ratatasker, but I don't think he has any like sort of actual bond like that with Ratatasker. And then there's Hydrogen, and I wonder if threatening Hydrogen, and even then I don't think that would work, but like I feel like it's setting up for that. And so Loki goes, "What is he talking about?" And tries to swing Ragnar and goes, "You get out!" And so Luffy suddenly shows up with a gum rifle. He's not saying it, but I know the technique. And so Imu looks shocked for a second. Oh, so it was, and it goes, "Get out of Elbaf right now." And with a hockey-induced gum rifle, Luffy punches the shit out of Imu. Chapter 1186, end. To be continued. And the next chapter is on July 5th. Sunday, July 5th, which I think is next week. Yeah, next week. So there is no break. Oh, it's fine now, I think. Why are you lagging? It's like cutting. Oh, it says error, YouTube is not receiving enough footage. I don't know. But it's fine now, apparently. I mean, it still says over here that there's an error, but I'm gonna ignore it for now. Anyways, into the discussion part of the show. Okay. The one says, because I'm waiting for Deadman to give whatever thoughts he has. I am thinking that's how dummy reversey works. By the way, I am going to actively go in believing this, unless we have seen any instances of dummy reversey that don't have familial ties in them. Because the prevailing theory for a while has been you have to be in your hometown. I no longer think this is the case. I think you just have to have a familial relation that you want to protect around. Be it chosen family or just family in general. And I can assume that maybe the little that maybe Sherry was done reversing. It's definitely a possibility, and that later led into a covenant, like a deep sea covenant, or an abyssal covenant. I doubt it's an abyssal covenant. I want to assume that it's a deep sea covenant. So the one goes, Loki, Gunko, and Pudding having special eyes just proves that Zoro will open his left eye and have the Rinnegan. Okay, so once again with this whole KK Genkai situation, there is no Rinnegan, but I have believed for years that Zoro does have the eyes that Mihawk does on his left eye, and that the reason why he has the scar isn't because he was cut by one of the monkeys or by Mihawk himself. I don't think that's the case. I think when he opens his eye, like that's just slashing energy that's being stored in his left eye, and when he opens it, it does a slash, like a massive slash. And so when he opened his eye after gaining the ability for the first time, it cut over his eye because of the massive amount of energy that was being left off. In the same way that like Cyclops does in X-Men, sort of. That's what I assume and think. Um, I don't know. I don't know. It could definitely be that. I have always thought that, and it would be so cool, especially because Oda just hasn't like mentioned at all or like touched upon in any way the fact that he now has a scar, the fact that he's potentially missing an eye or at least has his eye closed all the time. Like even when you're missing an eye, you open it at times. It is so interesting that he has not opened it a single time. Uh, he trained girls, and that's how Brook got that crack line on his forehead that we've always seen. Yeah, absolutely. And I always thought it was just a design thing that was meant specifically so he could open up his skull, and that we were never going to really get any information on that. But I'm really happy that we did. D-Hawk goes, best chapter in a long time. Those bipolar eyes feel like a huge clue. Could they be a special ability to read the poneglyphs or see the true history? I highly doubt it. I feel like if it was the case, Emu would have deleted her and not recruited her. I think it's just a genetic trait. If anything, it's a Hakuba situation, the same way that Deadman was saying. Like the Cavendish thing. Deadman goes, fact, there has to be something going on with that Sorrow Eye, yeah. Okay, Tech Lover goes, Luffy is like, I'm going to beat Emu in base form. Damn. Yep. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Joy Boy Supreme King goes, I smell a Sabaody archipelago 2 here in Elbaf, but this time with double the impact. I really hope it is the case, Joy Boy Supreme King, because I want a loss. It was something that I was wanting in Elbaf. I was really hoping that the arc would end with the Sunny being captured and every single Straw Hat being sent over to a specific new island, not by Kuma specifically, but by S Bear. And that then we would see reports of like Iron Man Frankie, Cyborg Frankie has been arrested. And it would be because the wanted poster says that the Sunny is Frankie, and that would be super funny. But it didn't happen. They ended up escaping, and everything. It wasn't exactly a win, like, but it wasn't a loss. But I feel like we need a loss. I feel like we definitely need a loss. We haven't had a loss since, like, a single, like, true loss since Marineford and Sabaody. And that's unfortunate. I think that a story like this, especially since the last major loss was well over 10 years ago, I think 15 years ago at this point, it is needed. It is so needed. The one goes once again and says, yeah, Blackbeard is 100% the final villain. I guess Emu is just here to give us lore drops and a Mihawk upscale. I've said this various times. I definitely don't believe that Emu is the final villain, and more so now that Emu is the villain of Elbaf arc. I really don't hope that it's Blackbeard. I feel like as alone, Blackbeard is a great final villain. Like, he really embodies everything. However, his crew is the problem. His crew, we as the audience don't have enough of a connection to anyone in that crew except Shiryu and what's his name? Shiryu and it's not, what was his name? Jesus Burgess. Jesus Burgess. Those are the only two that we have some sort of connection, emotional connection of some kind. The rest are just kind of there. And I really hate the idea that we're gonna be like, oh, this is the final arc. I can't wait for Katarina Devon against Nami and Vasco Shot against Jinbei. It's like, dude, what? Like, you're really telling me, Vasco? Okay, Von Augur against Usopp is one that I am definitely excited for. But like, in Sora versus Shiryu, or Shiryu versus Sanji, sure. But like, San Juan Wolf against Frankie, come on, man. I don't. Why? Why would I care about that? And for that to be the top of probably 30 years of content at that point, like, why do we need that? I don't like that. I don't want that. So that's specifically why the say ha 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 guy shouldn't be final villain. He should be one of the final villains. In fact, I believe that all the emperors should be villains, and the true battle royale should be for who is the final villain. But I really think it's gonna be Buggy and Crossguild. Like, not, it doesn't specifically have to be Buggy, but Crossguild as a whole. That's the final villain. It would make so much more sense. Every single person in that crew will probably have some sort of beef with one or up to three Straw Hats specifically, and the same way around. Like, I really couldn't wait enough for Usopp versus Dofi. Like, that is one, or Mr. Prince against Mr. Zero. Like, I mean, dude, Robin versus Mr. Zero. Come on. Crocodile Crocodile alone has so much to do. Okay, Lolly, we always see, he goes, if I had a nickel for every time a character in a flashback getting stabbed in the head and survived within the same arc, I have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. Yeah, we just talked about this with Ja Rule. Is it Ja Rule or Joe Rule? I keep getting confused on which one's which. Bune BGBTB goes, Emu is such a dork. I don't know why you say this. Rimu Moo goes, I was shocked when seeing Emu totally incapable of noticing Luffy. Aren't you an 800-year-old super devil? Get mugged, lol. Here's the thing. I don't think it's about, like, being incapable or, like, being weak. I think Emu, or at least this avatar, is actively crumbling. Like, this avatar isn't Emu. I think that's pretty clear to me. Or at least I want to believe. And there is a strict time limit that people might be forgetting about because, I mean, we've been having 3 full chapters of Flashback. We haven't seen Emu suffer the effects of the time limit in like 2 chapters before that. So it's been like 5 or 6 chapters since the last time we've touched upon the subject. And I think people are gonna be shocked by the time it does happen because it really catches you off guard. Really, I think it's Ja Rule. I think Joe Rule is his partner. You might have to double check that for me. And finally, I'm gonna read 2 more comments. Reading menacingly goes, it truly never stops being funny when cool villains just get punched silly. I mean, yeah. And then Blub goes, I don't know what to feel at this point. It is a tragical story, but I don't know. Also, I can't feel any hype of Luffy's punch this time. I don't know. Why did I still read this? Now, what Blub is saying is a little depressing. I feel like this chapter was definitely worth reading, especially because it was sad. But I feel like what he's touching upon with the tragical story, and he doesn't know what to feel, isn't because of, like, oh, this is sad and stuff, but because of the Kendall situation and the Man-Mayer family situation and Goro. Like, I feel like that's exactly what he's talking about, and I completely share his feelings on it. The same goes for what he says about Luffy's punch this time. I personally didn't feel any hype, and it might just be because the build-up towards it was both slow and fast at the same time. We have been waiting for Luffy to return for a while now. Like, it's been, I want to say it's been like 10 chapters of waiting for Luffy to come back. And when he finally does, it's just like a couple panels behind there's some exposition that we actually properly care about, only for Luffy to interrupt it with a punch that comes out of nowhere when Emu was supposed to be attacked by Loki again. Um, I feel like the ending panel of this chapter should have been Emu going dummy reversey, and then all of the giants in their entirety, including Loki, are turned. I mean, that would have been cool. I feel like, I mean, dummy reversey is something that has been, and it would be even cooler if this time killing a giant doesn't reverse them, because now it is pure full control in the same way that Shuri would. That would be so cool if Sorrel is like, oh, I can just kill him and he will come back, and then cuts him, and then he doesn't wake up. He's just headless. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah, it felt pretty rushed, but I can definitely see this going so very hard in the anime. I mean, that's my issue with it though. At the same time, because I don't want it to go hard. The reason being that I feel like this is going in the generic way of always. Where like, okay, Luffy lost one or two times, and he just eats a couple things, and he gets up, and he wins. No, no, we need a Kizaru Sabaody situation number 2, where like they are fully and just. I don't think we need another time skip, but I think we need him to lose. Because I don't believe and I don't want Emu to be the final villain in this. Like, in the end, I would like it that they come out of this with a massive loss themselves. However, I feel like Emu being defeated here will undoubtedly somehow break the story's narrative and logic. Like, Emu is supposed to be one of, if not the strongest person in the world currently, with the most power and influence, and they are here doing the thing themselves. If it was the God Knights, if it was the Gorosei again, okay. If it was Garling here, okay, give the win to the Straw Hats. But the major boss of everything, it's not a Kainu, it is not Kong, it is not Garp or Sengoku, it is not the Gorosei, it is not the God Knights, it is not Garling. It's Emu. Emu himself is here in the flesh. If you make him lose, you are downplaying, and if you make him lose by Luffy's hand, I mean, Luffy is really strong. Don't get me wrong. But this is a Luffy that, by the way, still cannot beat Kaido one-on-one. Right? The Kaido that lost wanted to lose. The Kaido that lost fought 17 other people before fighting Luffy and had already fought Luffy like 4 times before that. He fought another Yonko of the Sea right then. Like, the only one that can beat Emu, the only Luffy that can beat Emu is a Luffy that can go toe-to-toe with Shanks. This is, I think, I believe this. I think he doesn't have to defeat, because then again, also, Shanks, from, like, way back, this is like, when finding the Gum Gum Fruit time of past, he had to infiltrate the God's Knights, and he had to get out of there. Shanks is not strong enough to beat Emu, or at least not to go in and finish the job. I feel this. I feel like, man, even Roger had an issue against Rocks. Garp had an issue against Rocks, and Rocks was the closest to being on par with Emu at any point in the story. I feel like no one else has. and telling me that Luffy is capable of it just because he ate a couple things and feels like no one can defeat him. No, no. I feel like this will be my least favorite arc leaving if we ignore God Valley, because I think God Valley is its own arc at this point. If we leave Elbaf in the next 10 chapters, because Luffy suddenly like gained some sort of higher awakening in his brain, like a he he unlocked. I almost said illumination. What's the Buddha thing? Enlightenment. Get out of here. Get out of here. Ah, man. That man goes, yeah, this feels like a false sense of hope. No, that's the issue. I want it to feel like a false sense of hope, but I don't feel like that's the case. Oda has this weird thing where like he sets something up and he's excited about doing it, and then he notices, oh shit, if I do this, like I think that's what the beginning of Elbaf was with like the that was I still actively believe that was supposed to be a different arc that's not Elbaf, and it was supposed to be a dream arc, uh, a dream kind of training arc, kind of sort of murder mystery type. And Oda was like, if I do this, I'm gonna finish the story in 11 years. I gotta cut it here. So I think he has these cool ideas, and then he's like, oh, but I shouldn't pivot. I need to get closer to the end. And so then he kind of undoes them. And that is such a shame. That is such a shame. Um, and the same goes for this flashback. Like, this is another tangent this is another pivoting that he's doing with this whole flashback. I mean, it was 3 chapters, which I think is perfect. We didn't really need more than that. However, and while I still feel like this chapter ended at a good point with it, I feel like this chapter could have ended not even like getting out of the flashback specifically. I feel like for one, we could have had an additional flashback where he joins the Rumbar Pirates and everything. We could have had one more. But even if we don't have that one more, it is really weird and interesting that we didn't get to see why Esperia was deleted in the end. I hope we do get to see that when Brook confronts Gunko slash Shuri, and I hope that Shuri leaves with us in the Straw Hats in the like I hope that the loss comes with taking Shuri away. I feel like that would be it's so good to give a defeat that comes with a major like a fuck you. Like, hey, I might not have been able to defeat you, or I might not have been able to even so much as for a scratch on you or kill you, but I not only delayed you, I took something from you. That is a win done right when your characters cannot defeat someone. And I feel like that's the best that we should hope for. Not that we can hope for, because I mean, to whoever wants us to win, I think they have the higher chance in this entire like thing. Like, I feel like I'm in a minority where like what I want is not that it's not what the people want, but it's not what Oda is going to do. And we need a loss. Even if it doesn't end up with us leaving, like running away from the island, I feel like it would be good if Imu is about to kill Luffy or something, and then time limit, and that avatar suddenly like starts melting or turns into dust. And then Imu wakes up back at Marizu and is being like, damn. And then shows a room of like the original 20 kings, like the 18 kings all frozen, and being like, that was my favorite one. I can, I can already see that would be so cool. That would be so unbelievably cool. Oh, I hope that's what happens. I really hope that's what happens. This can be also like a big a wake up call for the Straw Hat Pirates to be like, hey, We are trying to go for the One Piece. We are at the very end, but we cannot beat the other Yonko. And this is including Buggy. Like, we can't defeat the Navy at our current level. We can't beat the other Yonko at our current level. We can't even probably beat our rivals for Yonkohood in our current level. Um, we need to get better. Specifically, Usopp and Luffy. I feel like out of everyone, those are the ones that need it. Uh, Zoro still, he literally just learned that he has Conqueror's Haki and has been using it perfectly, Advanced Conqueror's Haki, but he doesn't know how to use it at its full extent because he still doesn't know when to activate it exactly at the time that he needs to. He didn't even know. We still don't know if Sanji has Conquerors. We don't know if Usopp has Conquerors. Um, I feel like there's certainly a lot that was teased that needs to be learned. Frankie still needs to be practiced on by Lilith, and specifically Vegapunk Stella 2, which is currently still being rebooted. Kuma needs to be fixed. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen post fight, like when things calm down. And I think it needs to end with them pretty much almost being wiped out in the same way that Kuma sent them off. Instead, that this time the one being sent off wouldn't be the Straw Hats, it would be Emu at the very last chance, and then all of the God's Knights, probably including Shuri. That would be bad. I hope it's not the case. Maybe like the Covenant in the same way. I mean, Shanks had his Covenant here, right? And his arm was cut off. It is now assumed that he got it cut off on purpose during the Fuchsia village section because he wanted to get rid of that. I would assume that the way that we deal with Shuri out of this is by wherever her thing is cut off, right? That Covenant is cut, and so we get to go out, and so every single person that was summoned onto the island that's not sure because she no longer will have the Covenant is sent back to Marijua. I think that would be the best, but it would be in the cusps of the Straw Hats are about to lose, and the time limit is out, and the I'm gonna say 19th king, the 18th king dies, right? Because it's an avatar being controlled by Emu, and it wasn't actual Emu. Uh, yeah, I don't know anything else. I don't know what else to say. I think it's that. I really have no longer any thoughts. I would love to talk to my brother now, because I mean I just said a bunch of interesting things. I think we know now how Domireverse works. I think we know what the ultimate, like, what's going to happen with the arc. I hope all of this that I just said is right, because that would be peak, and it also would make Domireverse a lot better, in my opinion. Domireverse was such a broken thing, and I don't just mean it in an overpowered way. It was literally like a broken system. Like, what the fuck do you mean that you can take control of someone and then just kill them and they get turned back? That's not how Domireverse. That's not how Reverse even is played. That's not how that works. That's so dumb. But yeah. Anyways, Deadman, I'm super glad to see you here as always. I would really hope and love for us to have more people here every Sunday. It's such a shame that we haven't gotten anyone new in a very long time. But I hope that by the end of LBAF we have a bunch of people here every Sunday, just vibing with us and just having a great time. But anyways, Deadman and whoever else is watching, I know we have 2 concurrent viewers at the time. Thank you so much for coming through these streams. It is such a pleasure and such an honor. Again, I've been doing these One Piece reactions for years now, and I haven't gotten basically a single person to interact with, especially because I was doing them offline. But again, no one was also seeing these. So I'm really grateful to have you here, and I hope we get more amazing people. Have an amazing day. See you next week. Yeah, I hope so too. And also, Deadman, we will be streaming more on on YouTube. We just did our first multi-stream on YouTube yesterday for Undertale. So we will be playing Deltarune. We will more likely be doing streams on the Amazing Digital Circus because it's something that I feel like I want to react to live on stream. There is going to be things being done live on YouTube and on Twitch. So I know you don't have Twitch, but you can now watch the Twitch streams on YouTube. It's going to be great. It actually will work. So that's going to be good. Anyways, I have a lot of stuff to do. I have to eat. I have to go do a bunch of stuff. I haven't drank any water except from the water that we just had. So anyways, have an amazing rest of your day and or night. And I will see you next week in another live stream, in another thing, and on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Goodbye. When are you doing the stream for Digital Circus? Do you have a date? No, it's just something that I'm thinking of. So I don't know. The only thing that's in the calendar right now is that we will be doing a co-op Portal stream with my fellow content creator Kyushu, a good friend of mine. We will be doing that in 2 weeks, in Saturday of 2 weeks from now. So that's gonna be good. That's the only thing that's slated aside from Deltarune, and we'll probably be doing also Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, and Remake and Rebirth. So that's all gonna be good, and and Earthbound. There's a lot of stuff I want to do, and I don't know when I'll do them, but I want to do them. But anyways, thank you so much for coming through, and I will see you on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.